Hi there, thanks for joining me today. We are going to do a mixed media scrapbook layout. This is going to be an 8x8 layout using some mixed media and quite a few scraps from my stash. And I apologize, a lot of these papers are no longer for sale, but you might have something very similar in your stash. So if you would like to follow along, just go ahead and grab some blue papers. I'm going to start off by putting down some white gesso on the paper. I knew I was going to do some mixed media, and I knew I wanted to add some sprays, and I wanted kind of a smooth surface for the sprays and the mixed media to grab onto, and I didn't want the sprays to seep into the paper immediately. And of course it curled up as it dried, so that's what happens. And you're about to find out what happens when you don't have a completely clean stencil and you use uncolored molding paste. It picked up some, it's probably peacock feathers or something like that. After I set it aside to dry, I'm going to go ahead and grab some stamps, and I have here a stamp from the Almanac set from Prima, and I also have some stamps from the Happy Planner. So I'm just going to use Archival ink and just stamp kind of randomly this script stamp. Any kind of scripty fonted stamp will work. Now this stamp is meant for journaling, but I thought it would look pretty cute on this layout, just stamped in random places. And you could even, this stamp is an acrylic stamp, so you could kind of bend it in kind of a wreath shape if you really wanted to. I just stamped it randomly in a straight pattern. This time I remembered to grab my splat box. The last time I did anything with sprays, I forgot to grab my splat box. I think it was the wine bottle, and I had such a mess to clean up. So get yourself a splat box. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. This is just an old postal box that one of my scrapbook.com orders came in probably a year ago. Now this spray is a watered down mix of broken china stain and a blue perfect pearl powder, so it's going to have a little bit of a sheen on it when it dries. Now the idea here was just to have a little bit of this blue scrap paper sticking out from behind my background paper in a couple of places, and I wanted to distress the edges, and I ended up distressing, I think, most of the way around. I know I ended up inking all the way around the layout, and I don't need the entire piece, so I'm just going to grab I cut out a small section of that paper and use that to back that one little spot where I've cut away the background paper. And I started putting the adhesive on the strip that I was going to lay down, and then I thought, no, knowing my luck, I'm accidentally going to put adhesive in a place that's not going to be covered by the background paper, so I applied the adhesive to the back of the background paper instead. And I'm just repeating pretty much the same process, just on a different side of the paper. This photo is a photograph that my husband or I'm not even sure which of us took this photograph. We were in the Davis Mountain State Park, and we wanted to go up the Skyline Drive and get some photographs of the Milky Way, but it was thundering and storming all around. It wasn't storming where we were, but the entire valley all the way around the Davis Mountains had a thunderstorm going on. So obviously we're not going to be able to get a photograph of the Milky Way, but we got some pretty cool lightning shots instead. And I think it might be our first lightning shots. But this particular photograph was taken, I don't even know what peak that is in the background, but I do know that that's the town of Fort Davis in the foreground at the base of the little mountain range that we were in. And I'd originally left the mat a little bit too long there on the bottom, and it was going to cover up almost all of the mixed media. So I decided to go ahead and make it just a little bit shorter. I thought I was going to use that for journaling, but it ends up getting mostly covered by the title by the end. Now, I'm not in love with this, how this part of it turned out. It turned out okay, I think. I'm not sure if I would do it any differently. I'm not sure how I would do it differently. But the idea was that I would have these jagged pieces of paper behind it, kind of like lightning being jagged. It ended up being a lot more tedious of a process than I thought it was going to be. And I think most of the mixed media ended up getting covered up anyway by this part of the process. But I was just looking for a way to get rid of some scraps. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a title, and I decided on Electrifying. So I thought I was going to cut it out of white cardstock. I thought I was going to handwrite it and then use brush markers, and yeah, still it wasn't quite working for me. But you'll see what I end up doing. And unfortunately, my camera cut out. For whatever reason, did not record me handwriting the word electrifying on vellum and then fussy cutting it out. So we're just going to jump straight to adhering the title down onto the layout. And I'm putting this is Tombow Aqua, I think. And I'm mostly putting it behind the word itself, or I put some drops in places where I knew I would be able to put Nuvo drops and hide the adhesive. And I just wrote the word "it's" with white gel pen on black cardstock and cut that out to complete the title. And I am adding Nuvo drops in blue and black, which I just got the black and I'm kind of glad that I did. And that is it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found some inspiration. If you did, be sure and hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like more crafting videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to know more about this week's layout, go ahead and check out the link in the description box below. Bye.